All right, hello. So in this video, we are going to find and download the Biomanbio document so you could complete the lab. We'll join, or maybe join, but definitely use Quizlet for vocabulary building, and we will play Biomanbio Enzymatic as a way of completing a lab. And we will submit our completed document to be graded as a lab. Now, this one, some students have already been successful with. Unfortunately, I cannot see things as a student, so it's hard for me to coach you on that one. But as with many things, you're all digital learners, or digital natives, I should say, and you should be able to figure it out and then teach me. A reminder about video lessons in general. The benefit of them is they do demonstrate the power of pause for when you need a break. Rewind when you think you missed something, and redo when, well, you're forgetting things. A brief reminder about enzymes. Enzymes are a phenomena because they do something which seems kind of magical. They make chemical reactions that otherwise would go so slow, if not at all, go faster. And that's a remarkable thing. So don't forget that. And that's what we're exploring now. Now, after we complete this lab, we should be able to, and my face is in the way, let me move me. Okay, we should be able to identify a molecule that this enzyme will work on. Here's the enzyme, here are your choices. You should be able to figure that out. Here's another example. And we should be able to interpret graphs to identify how various factors affect enzyme activity. So we're going to be looking at graphs such as this. In fact, during the lab, it will show you how they are built. And like this, notice that the variable down here is pH while it is temperature over here. And this is our independent variable or dependent variable. So how is this changing when this is altered? How is this changing when this is altered? And we should be able to assign vocabulary terms to an enzyme-assisted chemical reaction. Here we have substances coming together, becoming this, and then becoming this. So what terms do we use? This one's given to you. But what would you assign to letter A, B, C, and then C and D, which are also over here? So you should be able to do that. And so this is what the lab is going to look like. I'm going to bring in for you. I'll come back on the screen also. And I am going to show you how to go about finding it. So here is, pardon me as I move things around. All right. So here is our Google Classroom. In this example, it's living environment period 1, 2. And I'm going to slide down to the lab. This is due on Monday. I'll click on that, to which it's showing me the students that are involved, but more importantly, the instructions. Here are the instructions. I've included 3 documents or directions to go. Number 1, the lab sheet itself. So you have options here to print it. And I did open up the option for editing the document, and I believe straight from there you could submit it back to me. But through this document, you can see the entire lab is here. When we go back to the other, the Smart Notebook presentation, I'll show you some specifics. You have from there also the opportunity to launch the game, but let me first show you something that will identify some vocabulary for you. It is called Quizlet, and it is opening up. It's got many features, some of which some of you might be thinking they'll be a little bit more fun than just the average flashcard. So here's a flashcard. You click on it, and you see the definition. Move on down. To the next one. And it is the definitions in flashcard form. What some of you may enjoy is this game, where once you get familiar with the terms, You hit match, and it will act as though the index cards of flashcards are scattered all about, and you've got to match them based on speed. Now, if you join the class, I'll show you the codes for that. If you join the class, it will keep track of your scores, and you'll be able to match them against other people. So, active site. What does active site match with? There we go. I found the match. Optimum means the best, most favorable. There we go. You see how the game is played. Let me now get back out of this and show you more. So now the game itself. It's called Biomanbio Enzymatic. I do believe I have it preloaded. And I do. All right, that's kind of loud. I'll try to speak over it. You start the new game. I'm just going to get out of that. Once you start the game, things will become very obvious to you on how to play it. But to that end, you have to fill this out as you work. So on this first page of the lab, many vocabulary terms. I recommend that you learn them from the game first, then go to Quizlet to support your knowledge. They're 1 point each. The next page. Again, more definitions. There are 20 of them in total. This is just a reminder to go to Quizlet. Now, on this page, here are your codes. So, for period 1, use this code. And if you play the games that record things, well, then your reported scores will match against the others. For period 4 or 5, here's your code. And for period 8, 9, there is yours. So if you join the class, you can play games that match your scores against the other classmates. All right. Now this next piece here. This is important. After you play the game, they're going to move you to this activity number 3, experiment. And by the way, the game actually is quite a bit fun. It shows, oh, where am I? There we go. The game is fun. It shows you trying to build a bridge. And it's suggesting that each little piece of the bridge needs help to be built. And that enzyme is going to help make that happen. Otherwise, the bridge doesn't get built. So that's like saying that these little pieces, in order to get them to come together, they need an enzyme to help. But on the other hand, another part of the game says, well, it's time to take this bridge apart. And there are enzymes that will help with that and break the pieces up. So enzymes will assist with that. Play the game to get that point across. Then this next part, when you are in the experiment, 5 points for looking at how the rate of an enzyme is affected by temperature. We need a label here for 1 point, a label here for another. We do need a scale, but there won't be numbers. It's just going to be a range. You'll see what I mean. This will be 1 point, that will be another, and then sketching it out will be another. Now for 2 points each, there are questions. Compose a sentence that captures the idea, the main meaning of the question with the answer. On to the next. Well, this is similar to what I just showed you, but instead of it being temperature, it's pH, the level of acidity. Again, we need labels, we need a scale, no numbers, and we need it mapped out. And there are questions. That will then be followed by a third part where you need to make a prediction, an if-then statement. In the if, remember that's your, is that the dependent or independent? Oh yeah, that's the independent part, the thing that is intentionally changed or observed to see what happens to something else. So, what are you doing? So, if, mention what you are doing. Then, what do you believe is going to happen as a response? And there is, once again, a graph and questions. This lab will be finalized by other questions that need to be answered for points. And that really summarizes it all. These last few slides, I'm just going to flash on there. What they really are is notes, alternative ways to assist you with understanding the material. So I'm going to flash them on there briefly, pause it so you could get better understanding from them. Good luck, everyone. Pause it if you need it.